Oh, hey, how you doing? We're
I'm
back.
doing good. Oh, I didn't realize I couldn't talk then.
It was
Okay,
rhetorical. Ugh.
I'll play the intro.
Okay. Welcome back to the Sense and Sensibility podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad,
and the unnecessary products we come across every day as moderators on steemhunt, a Steem blockchain-based product hunting site.
I'm Delio.
And I'm Team Humble. Let's get started.
I always moan about it, so I'm not going to moan about it this week. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I knew you were going to. I was
I know.
prepared to be like, I know you hate it.
I know.
But it's the way it is right now. We'll get another one done. We'll do it.
We've got to get a note in there to get that fixed. Today's going to be an interesting show because we're both drinking wine, because I had a affiliate payout from a year ago for something that I'd completely forgotten about. So now we can have wine because that's how ghetto we are on the show. Mine's called The Reckoning Old Vine Red, and it's got like a skeleton playing the guitar on the front of it. So
yeah, well, you just some people buy wine based on the labels, you know, and I'm one of those people. Wow, ASMR. Thank you for that.
It's really, oh my god, it's really deep, fruity red. Hang on, let me try it. One sec.
Oh boy, here we go. Gary V's wine library over here.
Oh, that's chuggable.
It's chuggable.
That's chuggable. That's dirty. That's like, I'm going to pretend to be a surfer and just like, I'm going to eat the sand dust. I'm just going to be a big old mess.
If your wine was a time of day, what time would it be?
This one about 3:45
a.m.
in the afternoon. No, in the afternoon.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd give mine like a nice 11 o'clock because that's when I bought the at 11 a.m. But mine's nice too. It's got there's a stag on the front, a nice like.
Oh my god! There's a stag on the front.
It's not a nice looking label. When I buy wine, I look at two things. The price, the year, and
that's two things. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into the show this week. If this is the first time that you've listened to this, it's called Product Sense. Even though we call it Sense and Sustainability, the idea is that we have separate programs or separate things underneath that big umbrella idea. And as we're both mods on the Steem DApp, steemhunt, steemhunt.com, we talk about the good, the bad, the strange things that we find on the platform, things that are happening with the platform, things that are happening with Steem in general, and relay them to you. So most of the stuff that we've done in previous podcasts, if this is the first one you're coming in on, is about things that are happening on Steemhunt mainly.
Yeah.
Which is a product hunting site, but you're incentivized to hunt things. So this week's big news, I don't know if you want to be the person to unload the news on us.
Well, no, you should do it because I feel like you're a little bit more integrated into that.
Okay. So this week, finally, I say finally, like they've been taking their time on it. This week,
finally, because you were so excited for it. I mean, we all are.
Yeah, I was kind of pumped about it, especially from the fact that I didn't know until I spoke to Tabris this morning. Tabris, by the way, is one of the main developers or the main developer on the whole project, alongside Project 7. They're the main team players. Tabris mentioned this morning that, he pushed it, and it was literally, I just saw it 5 minutes after the push this morning. So I don't know what time that was, South Korean time. But now we have the feature to have people sign up on the website, which is huge. And we could never do that before HF20, which is the 20th hard fork of the Steem blockchain. And you don't laugh. I said fork. I didn't say fuck. And so now what we have the ability to do is that anybody coming into the Steemhunt website for instance, from a social link, if they're going through it and being like, oh, wow, look at all this stuff. And, oh, wow, how come they got paid for it? And, oh, wow, how can I get started and do the same thing? They don't have to necessarily go and deep dive about Steem and Steem blockchain and account creation and all that stuff, which can be pretty overwhelming for somebody who's never used anything like that before.
Right.
You can do it all on the site now.
Which is awesome. And the more portals that we have, like the more funnels that we have into the Steem blockchain, the better. So
yeah, because we don't know which entry point is going to be, right? Because here's the interesting thing about, well, there's lots of interesting things about Steem blockchain, but one of the big ones right now is that people will slowly, I think, wake up to the fact that it's a unified logging, a bit like Facebook Connect. You can log into other sites with Facebook.
And BitConnect.
BitConnect. Steem Connect is similar to Facebook Connect in that you can log into lots of different apps on the Steem blockchain. Still the Steem blockchain underneath it, but it's a web app on top of it.
Right.
So excited about that, because ever since HF20 got released, secretly behind the scenes, Tabris being on top of all the code base and checking it all out, because he has to be because of rolling out the app. Steemhunt has been given a delegation by Certain Assets, which is Ned, a part of the original founders of the Steem blockchain, the Steem ecosystem, and he delegated quite a sum, about 1 million Steem, I think, to the project. And I think Steemhunt's now got like 1.3 million, something like that, of Steem power, which allows you to roughly make about 68 accounts a day. Now you're probably thinking, well, what are you on about? How does that Steem power work? So one of the facets of HF20 is there is a certain flag to be able to use a certain amount of your RC mana, which is kind of like power. If you imagine like superheroes and that you're having like a power bar on an arcade and you have like a fully green bar, when you create a account on the Steem blockchain that uses mana, it needs power, which in real life, you need power, electricity to drive an engine to do things. Same thing on the Steem blockchain. That action has to take place. There's a certain amount of CPU and mathematics that go on to generate it. And so that mana bar, that green energy bar, goes down the more you do that. So 1.3 million Steem power is a lot of Steem power. So you can imagine that it's very difficult for your average user just to generate accounts, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing that we keep the spammers out, as in they have to have Steem power to do this. And a bad thing that it can take a long time to generate these and wait for that
mana
bar.
recharges over time. So it's like it's a waiting game. Once you run out, you've got to ticker. It recharges itself.
So what I didn't know is that Tabris had been doing the 68 accounts a day since day 0 of HF20, and so we have 1,800 accounts made.
Some signups, BB. I got what you need, fam. I got your signups right here. We got 1,800. We got big ones. We got small ones. We got blue ones.
Jesus Christ! We don't have to. You went Jersey.
I know. I just teleported into another life.
Another realm.
Selling watches out of my coat in the 20s.
All right. It's fine.
No, but that what a power move that was, of like preempting that and being like, okay, let's not wait until.
Well, I think the reason why he did it is that, you know, when HF20 dropped, it was like, oh, I can't post anymore. Bye. Everything's fine. Like animated fire GIF. Yeah, I think he was like, okay, he worked all out the stats and everything that was required, ran the request and was like, oh, I can make 68. So I should slowly do that. And then I guess every like 4 days or 5 days, that completely recharges again. And I think actually the more Steem power you have, it recharges faster. So maybe we haven't noticed it in terms of the payout. I know they probably adjusted payouts anyway, but the biggest takeaway from this is that anybody now doesn't have to go through signup.steemit.com. So they're a bit more relaxed because they've got more time to focus on engineering rather than having to deal with verification, setting up free accounts.
Right.
It just distributes the load of getting people. That's the reason why the HF20 was called Velocity. The idea is that they were going to scale the onboarding of user accounts, which I've not really seen how that's going to happen yet, especially because account curation is very expensive. I kind of feel like it's like, yay, job well done. Like the spammers can't create anything, and now everybody's like, yeah, but none of us can do it either unless you got a lot of Steem power. So I presume there's going to be an initiative at some point, and there's going to be a certain amount of delegation or power or access to those tools from whitelisted projects. Maybe, I don't know. But the good thing is that if I share on my Twitter account today something over on steemhunt.com, which again, like I say, is a product hunt for but incentivizing the people who find the products with some Steem. that now you can go to the site and you can click on the top right hand corner, click on sign up, and step through the process of getting a Steam account. And once you have this Steam account, there is so much more you can do with it apart from Steem Hunt, which we're not going to cover here because this is specifically
but what's
about
cool
Steem Hunt.
about like having,
I'm gonna
did you
drink
say it
now.
was 1800? Yeah, you drink every time I speak. I've been noticing that.
That's correct.
The good thing about Steem Hunt having those, what did you say was 1800? 1800?
Yeah, 1,800.
Wow.
Yeah, correct.
So, you know, if you picture it, like, if it doesn't really make sense, like, why would somebody need an account for me? It's almost just like, if you think of it like a little wristband to get into a club or a party or something. You know what I mean? There is a number of those things. They don't just magically come out of the air. And so it's kind of nice to know that Steem Hunt's got some ready to go, you know, so that there isn't a wait.
You bring up a very good point, actually. With a centralized account, like if you go to Facebook and you're like, oh, Facebook looks cool, I want an account, you put in your email address, you put in a password, just you get an email that says,
nowhere.
They set you up an account right there. You know, they literally add your name, email details, everything else, and then they send you a verification. Is this really your email account? And that's it.
Right.
But with a blockchain, it operates completely differently because you're part of a bigger organic ecosystem where you're like submitting blocks to this ledger, this ever evolving ledger, if you like. Same kind of thing, because Facebook has a database, but this database is decentralized as it's spread across.
But your account actually needs to be mined. It actually needs to be
correct. Yeah.
You know, there's a cost to having an account rather than just like a name and an email stored on a database that equals an account on most in most applications. So our good friends at Steem Hunt have just like, they kind of been carving out those little cubby holes for new users. And then once you show up, it's like, here's your room, sir. So that's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll be interested to see what the stats are going to be in a month or two's time, see how many people have been onboarded in that way. The page is really nice. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you log out of Steem Hunt.
Yeah, I need to log out because I clicked the link and it just was like, oh, wait, you're here already. And you don't need to pay.
You can go to steemhunt.com/sign-up.
Right.
And they've done a really lovely job. Like if you look at the design, there's one account to use all Steem dApps. And then on the left, it says Steem Hunt is a Steem dApp on top of the Steem blockchain. 400 Steem-based apps running and will be able to use any of them once you're signed up with Steem Hunt. So they've done a really good job of the onboarding process. And then on the right-hand side, it says choose your username. This will be the name that you're called in Steem Hunt and other Steem-based apps. How to log into Steem apps. They've done a whole section on that, about a Steem wallet, about provisioning of a Steem wallet as well. They've done a really nice, slick job of just taking the frustration out of that initial getting a blockchain account, because it is a little bit more convoluted and complicated. There is other little passwords and stuff that come along with the account, like posting and memos and all this stuff. And actually 2 or 3 of them you don't really need to be concerned about, because you pretty much only use the posting one on a day-to-day with like Steem Hunt and blogging. So yeah, really cool. Really glad they got it together. I feel like they did it incredibly fast, really, compared to I've not seen any other site use it yet, but I'm sure they've all got it. Maybe Busy had it before everybody else, I don't know. But it's good to see it on there, because it means I can share Steem Hunt and say to people, yeah, I'm a moderator on Steem Hunt. You get yourself an account. Do you have a Steem account? No, I don't use Steem. What is Steem? And then boom, they can just log in.
It's a gateway drug.
That's right.
Well, there's also something else that I wanted to just really, really quickly mention, even though I didn't write it in our notes. My bad.
Okay.
Which is there's a big push and a big movement to have Steem listed on some exchanges. And right now, the big campaign is for, what's the name of it? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Netcoin?
Yes, about Netcoin. So a lot of people, a lot of communities, I don't think that officially Steem Hunt has like made any type of announcement or posted in Discord, but like if you want to see Steem kind of like grow, and if you want to see Steem on this this exchange, we could probably drop.
I have the URL.
Yeah.
I have the.
Go ahead.
I have the URL. It's contest.gonetcoins.com. Ned actually mentioned it as well.
Yeah.
We are really close, if not first. I can't remember where we are. So Patcoin is 5,774 and Steem is 5,764. So we're 10 votes away from overtaking them.
Come on.
So I think we've got another day or two, but I don't know how Patcoin got there, but I would say that they probably procedurally generated email addresses. It'll be interested, and Verge is like just underneath that at 5,535. Wow. So we've got a little bit. We need. I don't think people should be lax about the fact that even if we do get to number one, we really need to like pull out all the stops and like get your friends and family on there.
And just
contest.gonetcoins.com. People are probably saying, yeah, but what am I voting for? Why do I need this? Netcoins is a massive exchange where you can, I think it's actually not just a online exchange. There's places around the world where you can actually go and change currency, so fiat into Steem, and I presume vice versa.
Yeah, it would be really big to have that on there.
Yeah, and I think it's in like something like 180 countries or something like that. So it's done a lot of the paperwork when it comes to regulation, I believe.
Yeah, so please do that if you care to. They don't ask you for anything except your name and your email, and the name of the currency that you hold, and what your affiliation is.
Virtual Bitcoin ATM installs by Bitcoin in Canada. So there's a bunch of these virtual Bitcoin ATMs, and you'll be able to, I presume, swap between different ones. They're looking to add more coins to their service, I presume.
God damn, we got to get to Canada. All right.
Buy, sell crypto for myself, become a crypto reseller. So get paid to host a virtual crypto ATM. No machine costs, just use an existing device that we could turn into a virtual crypto ATM. That's crazy.
Love it.
That's crazy. Yeah. So get on that, because then it could be all over the world. And imagine being able to go into a little shop and pull out your Steem directly. Just like that would be incredible. Like convert it into Bitcoin and from Bitcoin into amazing.
Exactly. So that's really the, like announcements, house cleaning.
That's correct.
But now we get to the point. We get to the part of the podcast where it's the time for mod beef.
Excellent. Yeah.
Mod beef.
I was going to say it, but I didn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
Go for it.
So mod beef says the time where we, as moderators, which as a moderator, let's all be clear about what a moderator is. We ain't special. We sure as hell ain't in charge, and we don't get to know anything before you do. The only thing that's different between us and anybody else on the platform is that we are endowed with the responsibility to go through posts daily and make sure that they adhere to the product guidelines, which also we did not write. So there's a set of guidelines and rules that we have, and we have to it's like Tinder. We just pass or fail. Sometimes we ask for an edit, but so that's
I am not going to tell people that I am the Tinder of moderation.
Sometimes feels like it though.
Yeah, but we have a queue of posts that we have to verify them. We have to do the Tinder yes or no on it for sure.
Right. And
we have some guidelines which has about 9 or 10 sections in it, and very specific about what we're cool to show and what we're cool not to show. What is your mod beef this week?
Ooh, don't get me started.
That's the point. That's why I asked you.
I know. This is the whole point of this section, is to get us started. My big mod beef is like, I know it's a mod beef when I'm modding, and I roll so hard. So I'm at the point now where my big frustration is a specific website called superdroidrobots.com. And this basically is a part of a larger frustration, which is we're in this like weird robotics phase in the past couple of weeks. And that's because a lot of the more mainstream tech and consumer tech items have already been hunted. We don't allow duplicates. So once the iPhone 7's up there, once the iPhone 10's up there, that's it. That's the hunt for that. And because we have about 200 posts a day, obviously products don't come out that quickly. And what people seem to enjoy doing is going to hyper niche websites that have about 1 million SKUs and about a million products, and they just go down the list one by one each day. So I'm like, Super Droid robots has kind of been a drag for me because they're just like very like. Listen, if anybody loves robots, it's me. I've got a big place in my heart for robots, but these robots
But what
are
you're
like
saying is,
hyper niche and also hyper generic at the same time.
well, what you're really saying
Yeah.
is you want all of these ones to turn on their owners who submitted them. That's what you're saying.
I don't understand the purpose. Like if you,
All right.
like, yeah,
So
it's just so obscure that it's like, who's the consumer? Who's being like, oh yeah, let me grab this extremely niche robot.
I kind of feel there's two things going on here, right? I feel like there's one thing where I think we are emotionally attached to steemhunt because we've been there from the start, right? So like we both have an emotional attachment to products.
As hunters,
I would say,
before we were moms.
Well, not just as hunters. I think we have an emotional attachment to certain kind of quality of products because we've been around the block a bit. We've had products that are broke, and then we've gone and spent a bit more money to get a better product. And then we've gone a little bit further and looked into the legacy of a product. And then we care about, is it handmade or is it a family business? There's lots of layers and aspects to a product, right? Like I could do exactly that. I could just go to a website with loads of stuff on it and submit it. There you go. There's your product. That's what you asked me for. Right. And I get it. For some hunters, that's what you asked me to provide something. You've provided me something. Right. But from the eye roll perspective of a mod is that seeing those things over and over again, it's kind of like you've lost that loving feeling of submitting a product that's going to be like awesome or like cool or but get people like excited.
Right.
Like don't forget that somebody saw another robot just like that yesterday. It's like it's not. That's not the whole point of when I go to steemhunt. I like to go to the front of the website and be like, wow, gee, like I've never seen that before. Well, that's cool.
Like, who's the buyer here? Who are the people? And think about the people who have never even heard of or seen steemhunt and what it's showing on our page. So like, I love to imagine that people have the experience where they show up and it's like, whoa, I didn't know that existed. Or like, that's the type of thing I got to show my friend, or like, that would be perfect for so-and-so. Like people getting excited in that way.
However, that might be the very case for them. And it goes back to that thing that I said before, is that we're incredibly spoiled in the Western world, right? That we've had access to stuff like this when we were like children and kids and grew up and we're like, this robot sucks. Like, I want a better robot. Like, I want one from Sony that costs like $5,000 and does all kinds of shit. Like, we're incredibly lucky. So, like, I also think there's a subculture on steemhunt of people who, yes, they're just submitting stuff from the magazine because it's laziness and you asked me to submit a thing and there you go. But also I think there's like robots are going to save us, like robots are going to do all the work, robots are going to do this. And I sometimes wonder if people put these things out because they're trying to accelerate that whole ecosystem as well. Like, get people into these things, get the next generation of kids into robots to make the, to speed up that. I don't have anything
against robot hunts, like at all. But my thing is when a specific website has about 150 products and each robot, even though it's technically a separate serial number, technically a separate SKU, they're all the same. They all have the same treads. They all have basically an arm. Some of them have a camera mount, some of them don't. I mean, we're getting really into the minutia of saying, oh no, it's not a duplicate, but it's the exact same type of robot that we're seeing over and over.
So here's the thing, and this is my mod B for the week, which is completely in line with everything that you've said today. And that is that I as a mod hope that we can roll out a new update which limits the amount of links on a site, because like you say, I think once you've seen, like, okay, put it this way, right? If you go to a website and you're looking for a speedboat, I guarantee you, if you got the money for a speedboat, you're not buying the low end spec speedboat, you're buying the top end speedboat, right? I want the speedboat. So if somebody submits the best speedboat on that site, is it against the rules to like turn down other speedboats? Well, yes, it is at the moment, because we have to like verify everything that is applicable to the guidelines.
Right.
But the problem with that is it's the same speedboat oftentimes, with just additional kit and different upgrades and yada yada yada. And you're just testing the point of that. And if I'm a brand new user and I saw the best of the best speedboat yesterday, And then today I'm seeing the same thing. I'm going to be like, this site doesn't have a community behind it. This site is just like,
that's where it starts to feel link
scraping
farming.
sites. It's just scraping. Exactly.
Right.
So I think I would look, that's my mod B for this week, is that I would love to see some kind of limitation on the amount of links per site. How many depth, how many links, 5, 10, maybe 10 tops of how many links we can have to a website. Because really, if it is an amazing product, it normally has its own standalone landing page anyway, and is completely different to another version.
Right.
Like that's the reason why they dedicated the time to put a proper product page together, rather than just hunting everything in an e-commerce store that's like an iteration of a previous version of itself.
Yeah, that's what I call it skew surfing, because it's like literally just like, let's go, like open up 1,000 tabs and let's go down the list one by one each day. And even though they are technically different, and I think this is also part of a sub beef of the main beef of what we had with of Swagtron products and drones, where it's like, yeah, I get that it's technically the same. I get that it's technically a different product with a different serial number, but especially when they're all coming from the same, same warehouse, it's like,
I think the relationship is messed up right now, because most people who are Steemians, they're like accruing more Steam. They're there is a bunch of people that are gamifying it in their little squads to make sure they're in the top to get a bigger payout. They're then reinvesting that Steam, helping somebody else out. We've got people who are influencing other people's posts to push other people's up. There's a whole like clicky feely kind of thing going on there, which I don't know if you'll ever fix. I don't think you'll ever fix it. I think people just think it's fine. And I think there's two sides to this story, is that we've now got the capacity for like another couple of thousand people to like, there is the opportunity right now for 2,000 people today to get an account. Right now, if we only took 10% of those people, that's still 200 people coming in the Discord today being like, this is cool. I can like hunt my favorite stuff and hunt my favorite product, and I can get paid for it. And the group of people that we have in like random, for instance, now, like the 10 or 15 regulars, will suddenly just melt into the background because we have 200 brand new people. So I think we have two sides of the coin here. And people don't realize that, is that the hunters submitting just to acquire some financial reward. And I'm also part of that group of people, is that I hunt my favorite things that I like, because I know I'm going to also get a payout of it, because that's a wonderful thing about the whole site. Right. We're incentivized to do that. I probably wouldn't do it on Product Hunt, because most things have been hunted already or been submitted by the company who made it in the first place. Right. And then the other side of the flip side of that coin is that the front end, like you so perfectly said earlier on, should be the best of the best.
Right.
And I hope at some point we have some way of being like, all right, here's the top 5, here's the top 10, and we have some kind of anonymous voting system that kind of looks for certain attributes, and then we just list, 5 or 10 products along the top.
Yeah, or maybe like of the week or of the month, exactly.
Right. So a brand new user can come in and be like, wow, that is cool. I have never seen that. Or, maybe like 4 things out of the 10, like, wow, this is amazing. Because I guarantee you this, that will make people stay.
Yeah, for sure.
At the moment, somebody will sign up, do a few of them, and then they'll leave. Because if they see a speedboat tomorrow and then a day after and a day after, and it's the same thing, it's just a little bit different, then that's not going to excite me to become a member of a community.
Right, because it just feels like the chase for putting its quantity over quality. That's what the way it looks. Now, I'm not accusing anybody of like, you know what I mean?
No.
If this is what if you've hunted something from this website or any of these websites, it's like, and maybe, maybe some hunters are not aware of also what's being posted by other people. They literally log in, they write their hunt out, and then they leave.
Sure.
We see a grand scope of the things that actually kind of organically trend, like, oh, this week is a drone week, week is a robot week. So maybe people are not as aware, like on the larger scale.
Absolutely.
Of what people are posting.
Absolutely.
And that could be
I know
as well.
that for a fact. Yeah.
But get your.
But I also think there's a group of like sharing sites between people that have like been verified. This is an okay site to use.
Right, because
pick anything,
upload it. You don't have to worry about the mod kicking it back because you have. You feel like.
But the quality, but the quality will change. The quality will change. The more traffic that comes in, the more people that you're on board from the outside. who are not on who haven't been part of the Steam thing, and they're just like, oh, this is just my way of like acquisition of more wealth. It will even itself out. Obviously, we do have a global issue where, you know, everybody's trying to get a bit of money. Everybody's trying to like avoid the scammers and the hackers and everything else. But when it comes down to it, like, if we want to attract a regular audience and build a community, then we have to have something that other websites don't have, because we're actually trying to develop an audience. Right. We're trying to develop an audience of being like, yeah, Steam Hunt, Product Hunt is good if you've like got an app or event or a website. But what we're trying to do is bring the best of the best, coolest of the coolest, like stuff that's out there. And at the minute, we're working towards it. We've got a hell of a lot of products on there. We've got a hell of a lot of traffic of people coming back and forth, but that's because they're getting incentivized to just turn up and post something.
Right.
I think it will get better. Yeah. I think it will get better. The more we outreach, especially once we move forward and we outreach directly to the companies with the products, I can see that working brilliantly, because then when somebody from a brand submits something, they should always have like a pride of place at the top of the site somewhere. Maybe it's a sponsored listing or something like that.
Right.
You know? And the gamification process will slowly probably fall away. As long as we get the traction, that's the most important thing.
Right. And it's like, it's two sides of like the same coin, where it is awesome that there is a culture and there are people who are like hyped for rollover. You know what I mean? Like that is actually a really, really cool thing, that there are hunters and there are people who love the platform so much that it's like, you know, my time rollover is 11 a.m. Like 10:55, like people are ready, people are getting hyped, people are getting excited, like to post. That's so cool. So like, I don't want to take away from or diminish the people who are daily hunters, but
not at all.
Like,
not at all.
Sometimes you and I just don't like. Sometimes if I can't find anything, like I just have to move on to something else in my day, because I don't. You can't. Sometimes maybe you have to think about just skipping a day if you can't find something good, and instead of it just being like a tried and true. Okay, I know something like this will get passed. Like, do you really think it's cool, or is it just a short bet?
I flipped it on its head, because I realized I was just as bad, or like I got into a funk where it's like, I don't want to not post something on a daily basis. I feel like activity on the blockchain is one of the prime motivations for the algorithm. It's like this whole like proof of brain. It's kind of like, where you been? You know, like maybe taking a few days out and coming back is a good thing. I don't know necessarily. I know at one point it was like, post a maximum of 4 posts a day, otherwise the algorithm will like screw you for it. I have completely changed the way I use Steem Hunt. I only use Steem Hunt now as a bookmarking site. Everything that I come across that I like, that I think I would buy or I would play with or I would suggest to another person, I put on the site. And I treat Steem Hunt as my bookmark manager now. So if you go to my profile, there's like 400 plus like hunts, because I've been burnt so many times with websites where I put like links up that I just like use Steem Hunt as a bookmark manager now. Like, I think originally when I first started using it, I was like, I want you to see the coolest things that I found, because there was a bit of like vanity and an ego in it. It was kind of like, yeah, but do you know, like when you were like a teenager and you were almost like gloating about the things that you'd found and come across. It was like, yeah, but there's this, but have you seen this? And you know, like
people
still
do that. They like being the guy who knows.
It's like gloating, or it's like showing off, or whatever you want to call it.
It's like
in the digital age, I don't know if that matters anymore in a digital age, because everybody can get to any of that stuff via a URL. Like, it just depends on when you heard about it first, right?
Well, yeah,
and there is still the game of like, oh, you know, well, I've discovered it or hunted it first or whatever.
I like that band before they got cool. I like Coldplay before they were on the radio.
Right. So there's kind of like, but I also think that comes from like fangirling. I mean, could be called fanboying as well. But like, if you really love something, like I really love Depeche Mode, and if somebody posted something from Depeche Mode which I didn't know about, like some kind of see-through like vinyl, 25 years, something or other, I'd be like, fuck, damn, how come I didn't know about that? Because I have a attachment with Depeche Mode. Like, I should know. Like, otherwise, what kind of fan am I? Right. So I don't know. At the start, I was like, oh, I really want to like put all the stuff that I know about that maybe other people don't know about as a bit of a kudos thing, as a bit of like,
but that
check out how cool this is.
A really good point about like passion and having, maybe if you're somebody who's listening to this and you're like, I am kind of sick of posting generic hunts. Like I wish I could post things that I cared about, but I don't know where to start. Like one of the biggest things that makes me smile, if I'm gonna switch it to a positive note, which is like something that I guess I'm good at, which is like seeing a post and knowing who posted it before you even scroll down and see the thing, because there are certain hunts on the platform who have like their wheelhouse of types of posts. Like
Toffer, you're thinking Toffer.
Well, I was thinking Toffer, and I was thinking of Play It Forward, because he does like all nerdy music type. After a while, you see like
identity,
names. Right?
Identity.
I like to post like a lot of like meditation stuff, yoga stuff, so or eco stuff. Like, if just think about what things that you're just forget Steem Hunt, forget all of it, forget what you think is a cool product or what you think other people will think is a cool product, and like look at your daily life. What are the things that you're into? Are you into gardening? Like, take technology completely out of the equation. Are you into gardening? Are you into electric cars? Are you into whatever you're into?
Make sure it passes the guidelines.
Make sure it passes the guidelines, of course, that it's a tech, but like every single thing, the way that society is going right now, tech bleeds into every single sector. So if you like books, which is like the most analog thing in the world, there's still a bunch of tech around books, e-readers, e-reading platforms, like whatever your thing is that you're into, try to search for products that fit into that, because then it's a lot easier to actually write your post. You won't feel like, okay, let me just like try to find something or put something together, find a link.
You hit a really good nail on the head there, actually, that I didn't think of until now. And that is, when you post that, sure, it goes onto the Steem Hunt website, but it also goes onto the Steem blockchain.
Right. It's your blog.
Like, your Steem blockchain blog account will probably be like the sum of it, but you'll probably end up being headhunted by some drone company because you've liked every single one of the
Swagtron is hiring,
in that e-commerce. Swagtron is going to end up with like an Indian and Nigerian workforce because of the amount of love that they've been given. It's an interesting thing though. Like your blog is your legacy, is your history on this chain. And a lot of people are like, yeah, but I use an alt account, so I'm not bothered. Then it's just about money at that point. So we're not gonna go into that onto this episode. Anyway, we come up to 36 minutes.
All right.
We need to do our good, bad, and strange of the week. So I want you to get into your first good this week.
Okay, so my first good. Sorry, I clicked something.
It's track my subs and online subs.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a really simple one, and I literally just found it about an hour ago from when I was modding. And it's a kind of we've seen this type of app before, but it's basically an app that you put all your monthly subscriptions in, not your bills like electricity, heat, and water, but your little things here. You got a domain
web
here,
bills.
Right? You got Adobe, you got Canva, you got Spotify, Netflix, like all of those little ones that are like the sneaky ones are like the $8 ones that you're like, oh, whatever. And those things really add up. And actually yesterday on our other podcast, we were talking about, and this idea hasn't left my brain since, we were talking about having a purge day once a month where we go on and maybe even live stream it and go through everything, go through our computer, our security, like lock every single thing down, lock down what our subscriptions are, what emails we're getting, just having like a total reset purge day once a month. And something like this, I have a little version of this on my phone. It's called Bobby, I think it's called Bobby. I think I've actually hunted it, but this is the first one I've seen that is desktop. And I think when you have a desktop app for something like this, it's a lot more in your face on the daily basis. Like an app on your phone can very easily be just like moved to the back page of your apps with the games and like, Instagram and all the other apps that are collecting dust on my phone. But I like the fact that this one is desktop.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody's come up with a service yet for like creating digital like whole lifestyles. Like, so you've got like a blockchain, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter, you got, so you can go to a website and you can be like a hipster, you can be like a farmer, and you could just you pay a subscription fee and they just go away and generate you a whole set of profiles online for that kind of character. And you can just have this whole suite of identities that you can log into at any time and, be those kind of people. I bet people do that. I bet people have those things. I bet they do, especially for like going border control in America. Like, oh no, I'm a farmer. This is my Insta farm.
Yeah.
My good this week. That sounds cool.
It's nice.
That subthing.
And also, sorry, just real quick, I wanted to mention it also has folders, which I love because a lot of my subscriptions are work related and would be tax deductible at the end of the year. So you can actually sort them into folders and be like, these are my work ones. This is like my
That's good.
Entertainment, whatever. So yeah. Trackmysubs.com, really cool.
No, I like that because at the end of the year, if you haven't got all that information in place, it can be a right nightmare to pull it together. It can take a lot longer.
Your good one.
My good of the week is craftingplastics.com. So we have a global issue that has been in place for, I would say, probably about 40 years now, probably a little bit longer. I'm not quite sure when plastics came into effect, like stateside or China, Japan, but I know in the UK in the early 70s, like plastic was such a massive thing. It was like, we've come up with this new like material, it's called plastic and it's going to dominate and it's going to be everywhere. Well, we're starting to see the knock-on effects of having plastic everywhere because it's floating in the fucking ocean. It's like breaking down on the beach. It's like plastic was a mistake.
Yeah,
let's just
get it out in the open. In the ocean than fish, just so you know.
Right. So we, big problem. So what I liked about this is it was a kind of fashionista website called the London Design Festival. And one of the people there is making a new kind of plastic. I mean, I say plastic because that's the closest thing to equate to it. So they're crafting plastics, but they're offering design concepts and prototypes as well as 100% oil-free and compostable material. So they're making this new bioplastic, and it just looks like plastic and it's weaved like plastic. And the thing about this is that it biodegrades in its own time. So it's not going to last forever. It's not like you can make like glasses out of it. They've got like thread to go through a 3D printer. So you can print, if you scroll down, there's like glasses that you can make out of it. But this product has a life to it. You won't buy this for life. It will like break down before you do, if you like. It will biodegrade. And the thing about this stuff as well is if you bought, so for instance, you had these glasses and you were on on some kind of excursion or tour and they fell off and they went into the water. These things are okay to biodegrade and it's okay for a fish to eat it and it'll pass through the fish and the fish will pass it out and it won't do any harm to the fish. Right. So like, I like what I like about this and why it's such a good thing to talk about is I think it brings up so many angles of conversation. One about sustainability of things, about materials in general, about fashion, like it touches on so many areas. Fashion's got so much money pumped into it and seasonal, like people buy collections of things to be relevant, they use it as a relevancy engine. And then often don't think about like what happens to it after they've used it, like they'll just get rid of it and go on to the next collection. So anything that can imitate what's already out there, because people are just, they want what they want and they'll have what they want. If we can not subversively do it, but if we can put something into that kind of fashion food chain where it's kind of biomatter, so it breaks down over time, then I just think that's a really good signature move for like trying to be suggestive about the things we buy, the things we eat. So I really love that this week. I just thought props to the artists who are looking for different materials, because quite easily they could just be like, nah, we'll make it from plastic. But like it's got way more credence and it has way more of a life story, especially from a social perspective, if you're using a new material that won't last.
Well, what's cool about it is that it lasts until you don't want it to, which is the best of both worlds. Like I'm taking a look at the website and they've made it like strong and durable, but it doesn't start biodegrading or until you put it in a biodegrading situation or environment.
Right.
So like if you
Correct.
put it into compost, then in 90 days it's gone. It's like it never existed. But it's not like you can't have it. You can't have these glasses for 2, 3, 4 years or on your face, unless your face is like, a composting like, environment, in which case you probably have other problems that you need to handle in your life. But I love that. It's like, I think for a lot of these like eco technologies to take off in the mainstream, people have to feel like they're not giving up anything or losing anything. So
correct. Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
it's like Netflix for glasses, like, totally on demand. It's like, these are your glasses, have them, whatever. When you're sick of them, then that's fine. You can still be,
But that's all. But also that's the new arena we're in as well. Like if you just rock up at a place, like glasses are like 10 a penny, right? You can literally get them made in China. They get shipped over. Like people make whole like Shopify drop shipping like sites and make a fortune pretending that they're gamer glasses and they're actually going to help your eyes, when that's a complete.
And the lenses
bollocks.
are recyclable too, which is fire.
Right. So this is my point, though, is that, like, why shouldn't technology have a story with it that, if you want to gloat about products, let's take that to the next level, right? Let me turn up at the bar and be like, oh yeah, I just got these today. They're completely recyclable. They'll be gone in 90 days, but then so will summer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I love the idea of buying a pair of glasses at the start of June, July, August, and at the end of August they've vanished. Like, I fucking love that. Like, I don't know why.
Well,
I just really think that makes so much sense.
Subscription based, where you just are like a fashionista who needs to have, keep up with trends. Then every 90 days,
come on.
you have them.
Think about it.
But that's so cool. Then you have like a new fashion, a new style shipped to your house every single day. You're like, oh, these are what the cool kids have. That's what I want to have. We'll
just get all the latest influencers, the YouTube influencers.
My best
right? We just get them all mobilized with
influencers. I want to be a social media influencer.
I love you came up with that, and it's genius because it is. They're exactly that.
Okay.
All right.
My
So
bad one.
you're
I'm angry about it. Watch out.
Yeah.
My angry one was going to be a robot from Super Droid Robots, but I feel like we've beaten that to a pulp. So this is something called Noomi Noomi, and it says, "Mom, Dad, need a hand? The world's premier stroller rocker that finally gives parents an extra hand anytime, anywhere." Now, I'm not a parent, and I also can sympathize with parents feeling like they wish they had octopus arms, because you, as a parent, I know you're pulled in a lot of different directions. You're toggling things, and I understand the thought behind this, but it's like this crazy two-headed snake. It kind of looks like it's like a robot arm with a clamping end on each side, and you attach one end to the stroller or the rocker, and then you attach the other end to like a table or a fixed object, and then you press start, and it rocks the baby to sleep, or rocks the stroller, whatever you're trying to rock. And they're also claiming there's a womb-like environment by moving the baby's stroller.
I just read that. I read that one. I was like,
that's a problem.
Get the fuck out of
here. So by
here.
moving the baby stroller back and forth, the Noomi Noomi simulates the environment of the fetus, and therefore helps your little one to feel cozy. And that's all well and good, but you're not inventing that concept. The concept of rocking a baby is not. You're just automating it. So, and then you got to bring this thing with you everywhere you go. Like, no mom wants that. No mom wants to whip out a huge a huge robot arm out of the diaper bag when they're out and about. Like, come on.
Look at that couple on the left-hand side there. The girl with the multicolored dress with that huge device. It's the size of a human arm. And like, where would you do it? All right. Let's just analyze that picture for a minute. Like, so this couple here, first of all, never trust a guy with red shoes on in the middle of like a nature scene like that. That's a word. I see you. They're a look, but not in a nature scene. Like, that guy's going to get ripped apart by a bear ASAP. This is like, look at it. This is not even a park. Right. Okay. So I get the invention, right? I get what it, like, okay. So for the first part of your baby's life, I'm going to tell you something now, right? You're not going to use that after a couple of years, right? You're just not. So it's, for me, this is a product. It's just not worth the hassle. This is a product. This is a product looking for a problem. I've said it before. This is a product looking for a problem. Like, you're absolutely right. Nobody's going to carry that out. It's probably going to need a hell of a lot of batteries because it's not going to. It doesn't look the most energy efficient. Relax
watch your baby and it's like like surfing.
Yeah. I'm also telling you right now, there's nothing womb-like about that at all. Like, I'm pretty sure like a womb is a certain temperature and there's a certain match of liquid comfort going on inside of there as well. Yeah. Anyway, back to the point. My point is, like, what are we trying to do here? Like, are we genuinely trying to save the parents' time rocking this thing? Are you telling me that you don't want to rock it because, I've got to get on my iPhone?
Like, I feel that too. Like, there are automated rockers like that are in the house. Like those little swing ones that go. Those are really popular. But like seems to be some type of mobile option. Which, like, how many times are you out with your baby that you're like, oh man, this is a drag. I'm really rocking this thing. Like.
But this is systemically the problem with devices that supposedly are supposed to save us something, is that we're using power to generate the thing, right? Like, you can get baby bouncers that the baby's movement itself causes the bouncing. That is a negative. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you're not putting anything in to get something out. Like, you've got this couple here, like, looking intently at this bloody thing. Like, it's not even a strap to the thing. Like, what is he doing looking at that? I think they got funded on Indiegogo. I'm just taking a look. And that's another thing, real quick, power tip. It's actually, they've raised $9,000 and they're asking for $30,000. So actually this I don't know if this got passed or not, but if a product doesn't reach their funding goal, we don't pass it because it's never gonna happen. I tell you the biggest problem as well. If you scroll down, it says meet the team. Shay and Natty, 27-year-old, lovely husbands and fathers. Like, where's the women? Like, I have a big beef about this, and I'm going to get it out right now.
We got 10 minutes left in the podcast. Like, make it quick.
I know Kickstarters and Indiegogos and all these crowdsourcing things and ICOs and things like that. Where's the women?
Yeah,
guys, where's the women?
Out here replicating digital uteruses outside of the womb with robotic arms, and no women are.
And you don't even have one. You don't have one. So, like, how do you know? You don't have one. So, like, how can you talk about, like, the comfort of a womb when you're not walking around with the equipment? I don't know.
Okay, so what's the bad one?
Anyway, let's move on. It could be that one, actually. So the one for me, and it's a bit awkward, and I didn't want to, like,
don't talk about the person who hunted it, or keep that. Just okay.
No. It wasn't about the person. It was a thing called Awesome Piracy. It was actually from today. Is a curated list of awesome wares and piracy links. Now, on one side of it, I'm like, yeah, wicked. Like, discovery for me is one of the wonderful things about the internet. The problem is our guidelines suggest against, scams and anything that will, as somebody coming to the website, coming across that link for the first time, we have to have a certain amount of responsibility as to what we share. Now, from my perspective and my own personal perspective, is like my early days on the internet, we're finding out about some of these cool things because it was just like, oh, wow, really? Does that exist? And it kind of formed a lot of my knowledge in terms of what I was interested in learning about. But I don't feel like steemhunt is a site for dropping links about wares, as in illegal copyright and piracy. Like, that's not our wheelhouse. But on the flip side of it, like, I do like the fact that it's shared information, which you can find on the internet anyway. Just somebody's collated this all together. But it's bad because
you don't want to form the association.
You're kind of pushing the boundary. No, you're pushing the boundaries of the guidelines. I know you think it's cool, and I know that you think, like, some of the stuff on there is amazing. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I'm on the fence about it, but it's bad because it infringes on our guidelines massively. But also, we don't want to be a place where people can just go to link sites. We want to be a site full of cool, awesome, like, wow, I can't believe that exists. This stuff gets found out by the people looking for it anyway. They don't come to Steemhunt or a product hunt for looking for stuff like that. So I thought it was bad because it was obviously somebody pushing the boundaries of the guidelines, knowing where the guidelines were at. Bit of a week bad for me this week.
My strange one. But, oh baby, I got a real problem with creepy robots, guys. And I know I said earlier in this in this podcast that I love robots, and it's true. You can ask my parents. From a very young age, I chose robots to play with instead of Barbies, and instead of playing house, I used to play robot repair shop. So robots are really important to me, and I really love robots. But when a robot is creepy, it is the most terrifying thing that I can think of. This thing is called Project Robot Hope. And it is like a vaguely female-looking robot android. It's multicolored. It has an iPad in its thorax or abdomen. And there's a great idea behind it, and that's why it's not a bad one, because I don't think this is a bad product. It's Hope's main objective is to reduce stress among young patients during care. So this is used by medical staff as a distraction tool. It's the result of a program, blah, 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 to reduce the anxiety of patients and their parents. So this is for kids who are terminally ill or who have to be in a hospital for a very long time. And I'm 1000% behind the spirit of this, but this robot is terrifying. And I don't understand how children, if this thing rocks up into your room, I'd be under the bed hiding. It's terrifying.
I'd be scared to death if this thing
the design of this thing. That's why it's like
I need your Google account. Like
it's very Black Mirror looking. It's very scary looking, and I love the idea of it. And I love the thought behind it, but just on a purely aesthetic design, it's my strange one because it just looks like this is supposed to be comforting, this thing. It looks terrifying.
It is strange. It is strange because if you look at the website, you can go down to the testimonials. Like the first two testimonials are two people from the very photo, two photos
like
up.
Staff.
So like, you know, I that says to me that it's not really been deployed in many places. Maybe this was the first time it was rolled out. And look, don't get me wrong. If this is somebody's passion product, I get it. You want to do something. Maybe you've had a child in the hospital and you're into robotics and you were like, you know what, we need something to reduce anxiety or whatever. And that was a prerequisite of something that they were looking for. They were trying to find something to do it. But it just looks like a kind of a headless torso.
Looks like
with
something
an
out of
iPad
Doctor Who that literally would come if you stared at it too long.
But maybe I'm completely maybe I'm completely off base with all this, and maybe this is the run of the mill like average Joe thing that they're looking for. Maybe they give grants out to people because it's in some way visionary or whatever. But I guess I'd have to see it face to face. But I find that quite.
I don't
strange
know. It just looks real creepy.
But let me just like prefix all of that by saying if it helps contribute to the well-being of a child,
for sure,
I'm totally down for that. I just think the actual object itself
it's just very visually
scary.
Jarring is what I'd have to say. So that's why it's my strange.
Yeah. All right, we're coming up to 56 minutes. So I'm going to quickly put my strange one in, and people keep on pushing my buttons on this. They keep on submitting so-called smart toilets.
All right, get it out, Phil. Get it out.
First of all, like, what is a smart toilet to people? Like, how smart do you need a toilet? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, a toilet is a pretty, like, a dual function thing. You're either having a wee in it or you're having a number two in it, right? I don't personally need to heat my seats before I go and have a dump. There's like smart toilet of comfort for those uncomfortable moments. I mean, if you're having uncomfortable moments, you've probably got something going on elsewhere that you need to get resolved. Instead of spending X amount of money on the toilet, maybe spend a little bit on supplements and healthcare before getting to the toilet.
Yeah, go ahead.
But my biggest problem with this is that it's not smart, it's not intelligent, it's not connected to the cloud. It has a wired remote control with buttons on it that I presume people are operating while they're sitting on it, which is kind of a testament to the way people treat technology. Actually, is like they want something to happen, they want to be in control of it. I'm seeing that more and more and more. The products that people are submitting there's this notion of like subverted control.
And also, we want to be in like control, uncompromisingly at the peak of our comfort at all times. Like, isn't it okay to be a little bit not uncomfortable, but isn't it okay to just not be like, and you're talking about somebody who's obsessed with feeling cozy at all times. Like, isn't it okay to not feel the coziest you've ever felt when you're on the toilet? Like, isn't that okay? Can we just take a break from feeling ultimate comfort, like for a couple minutes a day?
First of all, if you really need to have a warm seat and that's where your happy place is, look, fine, I'm good with that. I'm a little bit freaked out that you need an air dryer in your toilet to dry your bottom. I'm not sure what's happening to your bottom when you're sitting on the toilet.
Does it have a bidet?
Maybe you're having some kind of splashback situation.
Maybe it's a full service
I don't know what
situation.
this thing has. All
Maybe
kinds of
it's like
stuff. I mean, but here's the interesting thing is that like all of that stuff somehow got bundled into the word smart. Smart for me is this toilet knows something that's going on with me. Like, yeah, something like we or like is measuring like my, like, oh, you know, I want a smart toilet to me is like, Phil, you got to cut down on the Mexican, man. Like you just, that's smart to me.
Right.
That's a smart toilet. A smart toilet isn't blowing
boy of toilets.
water over my backside because I didn't put tissue into the toilet, so I didn't get the splashback. Get some knowledge. You don't need to have a toilet dictate to you knowledge. You need to get some street knowledge about your toilet situation. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'll talk about that in another thing, but
all right.
Well, yeah, but I just think we need to also be aware that we need to aware of ourselves and our own bodies and not let somebody else or technology tell us how we're feeling. That's all I have to say. Even if this was a smart toilet,
unless it's smart enough to like unlist in contacts.
Or like send an email to my boss and say, I'm not coming in today. We have a situation.
I'm not coming in because my toilet said so.
To leave the house.
Can you imagine the email of a photo of a toilet being like, Phil's not coming in
from my
today.
iToilet, like the little
the
thing at the bottom.
iToilet, yeah. iToilet says it's took enough shit today. It's not coming into the office. All right, that's it for us today. See you all next week. Bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today. Subscribe with Pocket Casts and get notified right away.
And if you use Anchor FM, feel free to call in and leave us a message. We try and reply in our next cast.
If you'd like to support the podcast, you can go to anchor.fm/productsense.
And if you'd like to hang out with us on Discord, there's a link on that page as well. We'll speak to you soon.